Hey YouTube, this is Caleb with Olympus Reptiles again, and I'm going to do a clutch update. So this is clutch 12. We cut 8 eggs, all 8 babies are here. The pairing was the Lemon Blast Scaleless Head male to the Not Het Pied female. And the reason she's called Not Het Pied is because we got her as Het Pied, and she is not Het Pied. So we're going to get into this. First one here. So this is a scaleless head, and you can see it's a really nice expression of scaleless head. I'm gonna see if it's got the split vent. It does. That's not always a guarantee. And this one is, if I can, female. And let's get a weight. Get this thing on. But even with scaleless head, so obviously the end goal is full on scaleless. If that proves to not be viable, I still think scaleless head has a market for a simple fact that, it just makes nice babies. I do think it influences the pattern and colors more than just the head. And I'll show you that. It's harder to see on normals, but we have a couple of babies in here that I'd like to show off. And this one's going to be about 59 grams. So these guys have shed for a little bit. They're getting ready to be set up and have their first meal Friday. So they've absorbed their yolk. And so that's about the weight you'd expect them to be. This is another scaleless head. Now, if you look at this one, this is a really low expression. But if you look at the scales up there, not all the time do scalelesses have missing scales. There's just gaps inside the little scales on there. And so that is another telltale sign is it's not even. There's a bunch of missing. Obviously this has a couple missing scales, but there's a lot of space in there. So not always do they give high expression. Again, this one's actually 67 grams, so quite a bit bigger. I forgot to check. Are you male or female? A little squirmy. And this one I think is gonna be female. Wow. All right, keep on with the female train. Alright, and then we're going to do these two here. So this is a Pastel, also scaleless head. If you look, again, not a high expression one, and if you're not looking carefully, you could easily miss that, but there's a lot of just disoriented patterns, and there's a bunch of space in between those scales. I'm sure this one probably has a split vent too. Again, that's not always a little split vent. Not always a guarantee, but it is pretty common. Female as well. And you are a little crazy there. You may not even get a weight on this one. We're not going to get a weight on this one. This one is to run around. So we have another. Obviously, this is a Pastel scaleless head, so not just scaleless head. All right, we're going to two-hand this. That one is going to be, I can almost guarantee you, that one is going to take its meal right away. Usually when they're pretty active like that and really moving around, not really shy, they're usually really great eaters. So this one is just a Pastel. And you can see, actually I will take that one out so you can kind of show you the head differences. Both are Pastels. One has scaleless head, one is not. So if you look at the differences right there in between the little nostril stripes, you can see the gaps on this one. That hat in between those little scales. So another way you can tell it's scaleless. This one didn't have those, so this is just a normal Pastel. Which, if you're keeping track, so far we've hit no normals because even the normals were scaleless head. And that is a male. And you're gonna be peeing on me. Yeah, these guys are wound up today. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to get a weight on that one either. Then we got a Pinstripe here. So this is another Pinstripe scale set. Now this one has a really, really nice high expression on the scaleless head. And looks like a little split vent. Again, like I've said time, not always the case. I've had some that were not scaleless head and they had split vents. I've had scaleless head that were for sure scaleless head that didn't have split vents, and that is a male. Get it over to grams. There we go, 61 grams. These guys are actually doing really good. And look, I mean, if you look at these pinstripes, they don't look like normal pinstripes. The pattern on the back is just wackier than a normal pinstripe. It almost looks like a lot like our het red xanthic pinstripes, just really waxed out the pattern and color. And that's a really nice expression. And this one is male. 64, 65 grams, pretty good. And then this is a lower expression pinstripe, but again, you see all the spaces in between the head scales very obviously. And another thing we kind of talked about in another video, but if you look at these two side by side, look at the drastic difference in pattern. This one has almost spots down the middle, where this one has some up here, but down here is pretty clean. So when you're picking your holdbacks, which this is actually a good topic for another video, so I won't get too in depth in this, but be selective on what you want. What you might want in yours might not be exactly what everyone else wants. For instance, here we hold back the cleanest. This is 69 grams. We like our spiders to be really clean and not have spots, so we try and breed for that. Some people like the spots. And it's a female. And some people on their fires like high expression. And there's so many different things you can do. So, not when you go to buy snakes or hold back snakes, I always be selective on what you want in this. And on the notion of holdbacks, we'll talk about what we're going to do with this clutch on Patreon. Curtis, do you have any questions?
Was that all the snakes, or was there one?
That should be all of them. We had 2 scaleless heads. We had 2 pastels, one scaleless head, one's not. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 scaleless head pins.
Okay.
Alrighty, we're going to slide on over to Patreon and talk about what we're going to do with this clutch.